The Bayelsa Governor's Lodge for anyone that finally will be the governor of that particular state. But again, the intrigues and all of those political games are still up just to see who finally emerges as the governor of, or the flag bearer of the People's Democratic Party. Well, so much and so many issues, legally speaking now, but again we have two great legal minds who are on this particular matter. Joining us to look at the very first view on the same issue is Mr. Ikechukwu Ikeji. He's a lawyer. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me again.
Well, I'm quite sure you've seen all of that. They say contending issues, loads and loads of them. So the incumbent governor, became the governor in May 29, 2007, and the election that saw him through to the office were also nullified through the Court of Appeal. And upon his victory, the court asked for a fresh election, and he was again sworn in on May 29, 2008. Yes. So if some would want to go back to all of that arithmetic and say, okay, let's see if we can take off this and say, since Bayelsa was also listed for the governorship elections in April 2011, then finally we didn't get to see them in that particular election. Yes. And now some already are saying that now the way it is, if you don't even have that particular ticket, just might be going back to that which was before.
How do you mean which was?
Because the clearance and the ticket.
Okay.
Because that's just the first
January
issue.
Clearance, 2011.
Good.
I will quote Professor Ise Sage during his amicus presentation to the Supreme Court in this hearing of extension of time for the governors, when he said that if you cannot invalidate the actions of a governor prior to his prior to the election that brought him into power being nullified, you should also not nullify the time that he has spent. I don't know if I'm making sense. So in other words, if the time he has spent is not nullified, that means that time that he has spent also contributes to the period that he stays. In other words, what I am saying is that when they prepared for the April 2011 elections and held the nomination process, primaries, in January 2011, when the Court of Appeal held that the April 2011 election was no longer legal or lawful and should be discarded, it means that all other processes that came with it are also discarded.
Okay, one thing I wonder why the PDP did not pursue that angle instead of going to appeal against Silva's court process.
No, they are pursuing it in the court. They are pursuing it in the Supreme Court. It's before the Supreme Court. The PDP is supporting the fact that there should be an extension. And having said that there should be an extension, that means that every other process that does not tally with the present timetable of extension is not part of the process. So the earlier clearance, the earlier nomination that was carried out and handed over to Silva has been nullified by the cancellation of the time frame within which that.
What does the law say? What does the law say with regards to being legally excluded for someone who's taken the forms and haven't filled everything? For the process proper, which is the primaries, the incumbent was excluded from that exercise.
I think it's a wrong language to say exclusion, that he was excluded. There is no exclusion. In what we have seen happening in PDP in Bayelsa State, there was no exclusion. As a party has every right within its ranks to fashion out screening procedures that will enable them bring out the best candidates within the party, so that they can get the votes of the masses.
And from what we read, we didn't get to see any kind of screening whatsoever, because he collected the form of the intent form from the PDP to attend the screening panel and was duly cleared initially.
Yes.
So he got the clearance.
No, he was not duly cleared. He was provisionally cleared. There's a major difference between duly cleared and provisionally cleared. He was provisionally cleared, and if you are provisionally cleared, that means that it is conditional, it is contingent upon further events. So he was provisionally cleared, and when he went to the appeal panel, they refused to clear him. Not that they said he wasn't qualified. They said the circumstances before them are beyond them, and so they referred the matter to the National Working Committee, who within their powers, within the constitution of PDP, decided that Silva was not qualified to contest, to be brought out for the primaries, and that is within their powers. Except he's brought out for the primaries, that is when he can start complaining that he was not given due that his rights were not given due regard. And take note that they also gave him the opportunity to answer to these charges or to the allegations against him, and that has fulfilled the very apex law, the very fundamental law.
We don't even know such what allegations, because remember,
it's within there. Yes,
it's within there, but it's not a secret society. If everyone has been asking for that, I'm quite sure the PDP, not being a secret society, should have been able to let the people know. And again, remember what the judge did say, that it should give him cause why he shouldn't be part of that.
I am sure you realize that we had about 64 political parties, and PDP happens to be the bigger political party, just probably because it's such a big party. That's why people are so interested in their internal affairs. If it were, for example, PCP, PLP, one of these obscure parties that conducted what PDP conducted, I'm very sure that people would not mind.
It's very important that, yes, I think that people do have a right to know, because be that as it may, people are already being excluded. They do not exactly have a choice in the candidate that is fielded by any political party.
Yes.
That right is reserved for the political party.
Yes.
But sometimes when you hear that some candidates are about to contest,
yes,
your hopes are raised that, oh, maybe this person might be able to deliver.
Yes.
You will be interested in the process that is going to, nullify that person's eligibility to contest or not. So I think that people do have a right in that respect. You don't think so?
No, I think that the people have a right to know as citizens of Nigeria, not as members of PDP. Yes, as members of PDP. Members of PDP have a right to know what is going on within their party. But the people in the general perspective have only the right to know what is going on within the polity as citizens of Nigeria, which is different as from being a member of PDP.
And not even as interested parties, because at the end of the day, these are the people that they're going to be called to vote for. At the end of the day,
the only time people start becoming interested, involved in political parties, is when the political party has brought out candidates for primaries.
So whatever the process that throws them,
so long as internally speaking, it goes according to the constitution of the party. So long as it goes according to the dictates of the provisions of the constitution of the party, it is very right. The only time that the Electoral Act and the constitution starts to become operative in that regard is when the primary starts taking place. And as well as we know, Silva didn't get to the stage of the primaries.
Well, he did get to the stage before the first primary, before the April elections. He won.
I think I've addressed that.
Yes, he won that primary.
Yes.
Isn't it funny? One will ask, what exactly has happened? What exactly has changed between that period and now that he will try to contest again, and he'll be disqualified?
As you correctly agree with me, you can commit an offense within 2 seconds. As soon as I leave this place, I may go out there and I commit an offense, and things will just change, and you say, this is Barrister Ikeji you just saw here now, and suddenly he's being arrested by the police.